those gear shifts are just instantaneous. Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's video we're reviewing the all-new Hyundai Elantra N. First and foremost though, a huge shout out and thank you to the Murdoch Hyundai here in Linden, Utah for giving me some time with this Elantra N. This one is available for sale for the time being. It is pre-owned with a few miles, but it's actually certified pre-owned, which is the best way to buy a pre-owned car. So definitely check them out. Link to their inventory in the description down below. And then on a side note, if you want to save time and money the next time you purchase a car, link to my car buying guide in the description down below as well. Let's get into the review. Under the hood, we have a turbocharged 2-liter 4-cylinder that goes through an 8-speed dual-clutch automatic transmission. Power outputs are 276 horsepower and then 289 pound-feet of torque. You can also get this with a 6-speed manual. Now let's go to the front end of the Elantra N. So first off, we have a massive Hyundai logo there, front and center. And you guys can see just how aggressive the body lines are. And of course, this one's finished in the launch color for the Elantra N, which I think looks absolutely fantastic. And then coming down below, you can see with the daytime running lights, it's cool how it goes through like 2 different body panels. Kind of interesting with the headlights as well. And then just look at the design here on the front grille. It is pretty crazy. Like seeing all this together, it is just quite a bit going on. And then notice the red trim there at the very bottom. And then we have our N logo there off to the side. And you know what? I like it. Coming around the side here, our tire and wheel setup is 245, 35, 19 in the front and also in the rear as well. And then notice here with the design on the wheels, pretty crazy. There's quite a bit happening there. Got the N logo there in the center, and then also on the brake caliper as well, that is obviously painted red. And yeah, I think they did a pretty good job with that. If you guys are wondering, these are Pilot Sport 4S's for the tire itself. It's a Michelin tire. And you notice here at the mirror, blacked out, and then also all the trim around the windows blacked out. And then with the side skirt, that's also blacked out. But of course, we've got the red trim there with another N logo. And when you put it all together, it actually looks really cool. So initially, when I saw this on the new Elantra, I was like, that looks kind of weird. But seeing it on the N, it actually makes sense. So here's a key fob for the N. You got the N logo there on the back. We have our lock function, unlock, remote start, and then the opening here for the trunk. We'll just hold that down and then it'll pop it partially open. You do have to open it up the rest of the way yourself. And then notice we've got Elantra N right there. And then you guys can see here with the storage space, and well, that's pretty cool. And other than that, pretty normal trunk area, other than the big red thing in the back. But, well, there we go. Finishing things up with the rest of the rear, you guys can see pretty aggressive spoiler here on the back end. Of course, another Hyundai logo and then Elantra logo, and then our subtle N badge there off to the side. I love the taillight design here and how it all connects together. That looks fantastic. Parking sensors down below, and then look how aggressive these exhaust tips are on. The exhaust actually sounds really good for a 4-cylinder. Notice with the red trim there. And other than that, that's the rear. Now here's the rear door panel. I love the insert right here, just looks fantastic. And then notice same thing with the seats. Again, the kind of like two-tone design with the material use, obviously not the coloration, looks great. And then look at the stitching, it matches the exterior color. That's fun. And then popping in, whew, it's actually pretty spacious. Apparently I can't talk, but I was saying it's pretty spacious back here. And yeah, overall, the rear seat area actually looks really nice. A lot of cars in this segment will cheap out with the rear seats, but they didn't do that with the Elantra, which I'm glad. Anyways, let's head to the front. Now here's the front door panel. What you guys will notice is same thing with the rear in terms of the material use, but we have this cool design on it, which is pretty neat. And then we do have blind spot monitoring for the mirrors. We've got all of our practical controls for like the windows, mirror adjustments, all that fun stuff. And then here are the seats, which are really aggressive. They look fantastic. I love how the N logo is like illuminated. That looks cool. And then notice again, just like on the door panel there. And yeah, overall, really cool design. The seats are manually adjustable. Notice another N logo. Got the 2-pedal layout. Lane departure, we've got stability control right there. Steering wheel is manually adjustable. And let's pop in. Now here is the steering wheel. You can see really nice leather trim all around. It's perforated here on the sides, so you can get a slightly better grip. N logo there. Down below you have your NGS. Basically this bumps it up to 286 horsepower, makes the transmission even snappier from a gear shift perspective. And so it's kind of like your boost button, which is fun. And then notice here we've got our N modes on the steering wheel on either side, which is pretty cool to make it uniform. We've got our voice command phone controls on one side. We've got cruise control and steering assistance. Like, this has a bunch of practical daily driver stuff, which I love. Really nice paddle shifters here on the back. Turn signal light stock, windshield wiper stock. And the last thing I want to mention here in the steering wheel, if the camera will focus, notice the stitching again matches the exterior color. Here's the center gauge cluster. So first off, if I press that N button, notice, boom, gets really aggressive. And then you guys can see if I press the other N button, it just kind of puts it back to the normal mode. We do have some different drive modes though besides that. So we have a sport mode, we have an eco mode, and then we have normal mode. And it has cool animations for each of the drive modes, which is definitely fun. And other than that, we do have the regular little function you can scroll through so you can see like tire pressure, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, cool gauge cluster. Now here's the center infotainment system. First off, if we pop it into reverse, we do have a backup camera with trajectory lines that turn with the steering wheel, and resolution is actually pretty solid. You do have the parking sensors there for the rear. And then as for the screen itself, response time is fantastic. As you can see, has a quiet mode, and if we press our N mode here on the infotainment system, notice, boom, pops up with everything. So like, for example, if I press the throttle a little bit, you guys can see the real-time horsepower and torque. I don't know, it's got some fun stuff like that, and other than that, that's the center. Now I've got analog controls here for the infotainment system down below. We do have a dual zone climate system. We also have heated seats for the front, and then down below you can see with the wireless phone charging pad, USBs, all that. And then we have a shifter for the 8-speed dual clutch automatic transmission. And then notice we've got, well, it's kind of hard to see on the camera, another N logo, of course. And then a drive mode select right there, and then that's for the camera to pop that on. We have a traditional brake, and then we've got a couple cup holders, and then here's the center console, and then notice the padding here, and then look at the ambient lighting. That's pretty cool. Fun. I like the dash too. It's not necessarily like soft touch. Well, it actually has some give to it, but it just looks nice. Everything in here looks nice. We do have a sunroof here, and then just all black headliner, and then manual mirror dimmer. Now, if you want the most up-to-date price on this Elantra N, check out Murdoch Hyundai and Linden's website in the description down below. Let's drive it. Well, let's talk about visibility before we set off. Here's your visibility over the hood. Both the mirrors do have blind spot monitoring and throughout the rest of the rear, and showing 19.6 miles per gallon as average. Anyways, let's set off. So setting off in the Elantra N, and I've just got this in the normal mode right now because you know, a lot of people that would purchase this would use this as a daily driver, especially since this has the dual clutch automatic, so that you could just well, let it do everything for you. And so, yeah, I want to see how it does as a daily driver. Steering is definitely heavier compared to a regular Elantra. That's something I'm noticing right away. Is, yeah, the steering definitely feels a little bit heavier. Gear shifts are really smooth. Other than the loud exhaust, it is a comfortable car, and the bolstering on these seats is pretty aggressive, but you know, it's not uncomfortable. These seats are actually pretty dang comfortable. Now, of course, we got to pop it into the N mode because, you know, if we're gonna drive an Elantra N, we got to have a little bit. We got to have a little bit of fun with it. Those gear shifts are just instantaneous. This is a really good dual clutch. I can confidently say that. I like the little pops you get on upshift. It kind of just does little exhaust farts, which I think is pretty fun. It sounds great. Now I'm just doing this as a test. I want to see kind of braking performance. Yeah, solid. The brakes are amazing on this as well. That's another big plus. I think they've done a really good job with this overall setup. This is fun. This kind of reminds me of an Audi, actually, believe it or not. Okay, so I've still got it in the N mode, and we're gonna come to a complete stop here because I want to see how this thing accelerates. A little bit of turbo lag. So I did the grin shift there at the end, as you guys could see, and yeah, it picks up quite a bit. So we're gonna turn that off, turn that back on. And the thing that's crazy is this doesn't do the crazy torque steer like the other N models. Like the Veloster, for example, the Sonata N line, this doesn't do the crazy torque steer and just roasting the front tires. This actually puts the power down. This is extremely impressive. Wow, I was not expecting this. Because, you know, again, what Hyundai's kind of let themselves become known for with these cars is tons of torque steer, tons of wheel spin, which is an absolute blast, but not great for performance driving. I'm just going around the roundabout here to see the handling. Man, this completely changed my perception on Hyundai's N cars. See if I can, yeah, there we go. Just hold down the plus pedal and then it'll pop back in automatic mode. So yeah, summing things up, this thing looks amazing. It sounds great for a 4-cylinder. It sounds absolutely fantastic for a 4-cylinder. It's very quick for what it is. There is turbo lag, so it has that kind of old school turbo fun, which I like. It creates drama. Interior is great too, like especially considering the price point these are at. Yeah, really like this is a very bespoke feeling interior, if that makes sense. Like this feels special to me, especially like when you compare this to the Honda Civic Si, for example. The Civic Si doesn't feel nearly as special as this does from an interior perspective. We'll see if the new Civic Type R feels, you know, more special. But anyways, yeah, they just nailed it. This car looks great, sounds great, and this is the best driving N car that I've ever driven, like hands down. It can actually put down the power, it handles amazingly well. If I was gonna buy an N car, it would be this Elantra N. And again, with the dual clutch, you know, I know a lot of people are gonna be like, oh, I want a manual, and hey, I get it, but this is a lot more daily drivable because it's an automatic, so it will just do everything for you. And that's funny, we're right next to an N-Line Sonata. That's funny. Maybe I got to review that N-Line Sonata another day, because that's like the torque steer. It's like the torque steer king. That thing just like roasts the front tire. Again, it's a different type of driving. It's definitely fun. But let me know what you guys think about this Elantra N. That's gonna sum things up for our video on this Elantra N. Again, a huge shout out and thank you to the Murdoch Hyundai here in Linden, Utah for giving me some time with this Elantra N. Like I said, check out the inventory in the description down below. I'll see ya.